What exactly did they all see? Here's what they all agreed on. This is the first truth. The one the ancient world tried their absolute hardest to communicate to us. And it's also the one that we've gone the farthest away from. You are not separate. You never were, and you never could be. Every single ancient civilization on Earth figured this out. In the Upanishads from India, they had a saying called Tat Twam Usi. I think that's how you pronounce it, but it basically means you are that. Not connected to it, not loved by it. You are the divine wearing this human costume. Jesus even said this. He said the entire kingdom of God is within you, not in a building or a book, in you. In the ancient Sufi texts, they said you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. If you look at Hermetic texts, all is one. If you look at Taoism, everything is the Tao expressing itself in 10,000 forms. If you look at the ancient Mayan text, which is called the Popol Vuh, you see heart of sky, heart of earth. This is the universe as a single living being. Even looking at Buddhism, there is no separate self. If you look inside the Kabbalah, which is one of my favorite quotes, they say creation is one emanation, divided only in appearance. And if you look into quantum physics, what are we starting to discover? Everything is one field, fragmented by perception. Different cultures, different metaphors, same exact truth. There is no you versus the world. There is only this one universe, like experiencing itself from your point of view. Separation is what they're trying to show us, is a hallucination. Being divided is a glitch in humanity, and isolation is not really real. This is the kind of the metaphor they're trying to get us to understand. When a wave rises up out of the ocean, it looks separate. It has its own little shape, it has its own motion, its own lifespan, but the wave is not actually a thing. It's the ocean, just for a few seconds, expressing itself in a temporary form. When you were born, that was the ocean rising. When you die, the wave goes back into itself. You never stopped being the ocean, you just forgot for a minute. And when every ancient text says things like one spirit, one God and Father of all, as above, so below, you are that, the kingdom is within, all is mind, everything is the Tao. They're all trying to point at the same thing. You are the universe, aware of itself. You are the divine, looking out through human eyes temporarily. You are not the world. The world is in you. And here's the super raw part that they didn't say outright. Every mystic hinted at this. If you aren't separate, then your entire life, your entire identity, your whole entire worldview might just be built on a misunderstanding. And that misunderstanding is what makes most of us suffer. Because the moment that you believe that you're separate, you start fearing loss and death and rejection and scarcity. And we start chasing significance and validation and control. We start defending our little ego like it's sacred. But the moment that we remember what we actually are, the fear goes away. Conflict all dissolves. Loneliness goes away. Death changes meaning entirely. And life becomes something that we can finally understand. A single field of consciousness, somehow playing out as billions of expressions, trying to remember itself. This is why truth number one sits at the foundation of everything else. Because if we are not separate from each other, and if you're not separate from the universe, then what comes next is the operating system of reality. Number two, fear is an illusion and love is the truth. So if the first truth is that you're not separate, the second truth is the one that keeps shaping your entire life without you realizing it. Fear is the greatest lie ever told. Love is the only thing that's real. Every ancient text, it doesn't matter the culture, it doesn't matter what language, repeats the same idea so many times it's almost suspicious. The most repeated phrase in the entire Bible is fear not, or do not be afraid. A quote from Jesus says, perfect love casts out fear. We hear the Buddha say, hatred does not cease by hatred. By love alone is hatred healed. In the Bhagavad Gita, we read, the path of devotion, love, leads to liberation. The path of ignorance, fear, leads to suffering. In the Tao Te Ching, we see courage comes from love. Paralysis comes from fear. In the Dhammapada, we read, the mind is everything, meaning that fear starts in the mind and not the world itself. In ancient Sufi wisdom, we specifically see from Rumi, your job is not to seek for love, but to find and remove the barriers you built against it. How beautiful is that? All these civilizations that never spoke a single word to each other somehow arrived at the same conclusion about reality. Fear is an illusion that keeps us asleep, and love is the frequency or the thing that wakes us up. Fear shrinks self, and love expands the self. Fear breeds ego, and love dissolves it. Fear isolates you, and love reminds you who the hell you actually are. Fear makes you chase approval, validation, and money and control. It makes us compare ourselves to everybody else. Fear makes us live like something is missing. Love, in the ancient sense, isn't romantic. What they mean is oneness. It's alignment. It's essentially the recognition that we're made of the same stuff, the same light or the same source, whatever you want to call it. That's why fear feels bad, because it's biologically incompatible with what you actually are. Every mistake you've ever made, every relationship that blew up, every regret you carry, every time you sabotage your own potential, it's all fear. Every spiritual leader across time was basically saying, you're suffering because you're believing a lie. The moment that you drop fear, you don't just all of a sudden find love. You're not finding love. You're returning to it. It's your default state. That's why we're born with it. It's the only real thing underneath all the noise is just that. But all the ancients didn't stop there. They all said the same thing next. Something that modern science is finally catching up to. And if love is real, and fear is an illusion, then who's creating the illusion? Your mind, which leads us to truth number 3. Your mind is not a camera, it is a projector. So your brain doesn't record reality, it generates reality. I'm talking about the most ancient spiritual teaching on earth. And it's the most modern scientific discovery at the same time. But let's go back. If you look at the Dhammapada, we see what you think you become. If you look at the Hermetic texts, the all is mind. In the Hindu Vedanta, we see Maya, the world you perceive, is shaped by the mind's illusions. And then back to the Upanishads again. The universe arises from consciousness. That's pretty straightforward. And even looking back at Plato, he says reality is the moving image of eternity. And the translation for that would be the mind shapes what you perceive. If you look at quantum physics, observation changes the behavior of matter, physical particles. So I think the meaning here is consciousness is not inside the universe. The universe is inside consciousness. Every single culture was screaming this exact same thing. Your mind is not reacting to life. It's constructing the version of life that you're experiencing. Your fears, your beliefs, your identity, your memories, your stories, all those patterns you have in your life. We think that they're interpretations. What they are is filters that reshape reality before reality reaches you. This is why two people can live through the exact same moment and experience two completely different things. This is why suffering usually comes from inside and not outside. This is why so many ancient texts focus way more on inner world than outer world. This is probably also why every spiritual path teaches stillness and silence and presence and meditation and surrender. And I think this is because the moment that we stop letting fear hijack the projector, we start seeing reality pretty clearly for the first time. If your mind shapes